welcome to CIO News. I am Khushbu Soni, your host for the broadcast and editor-chief at CIO News. This is our exclusive fireside chat powered by Sophos on the topic of managed detection and response. This is a recorded session and will be available on our website, that is cionews.co.in, and our CIO News LinkedIn handle. I'm very excited to invite our guest for today. We have Mr. Vijaya Krishna Iyengar, the Associate Vice President IT at Bharat Fritz Werner Ltd. Mr. Vijaya Krishna has 25 plus years of experience in the manufacturing domain. He's worked for various companies such as GM Pens, Sengobi Glass. He's also worked with ABFL. He's worked in the auto industries, which is the Hindustan Motors Limited, an energy company, which is concerned Neoward Power Solutions Private Limited. Mr. Vijay Krishna has been in an industry veteran, worked across manufacturing companies, and brings in a lot of expertise around digital transformation, cybersecurity. Sir, it's an absolute pleasure to have you today, and really looking forward to learn from your perspectives.
Very happy to join. Thanks, Khushbu. Thanks for the introduction.
Great. We are also accompanied by Mr. Prasanna Kumar, the Director, South India, Sri Lanka and Maldives, from a cybersecurity specialist from Sophos. Prasanna has 20 plus years of experience in the IT domain, which includes 15 years with Sophos and other many years working with various companies, such as Frontier being one of them. Prasanna, pleasure to have you, and looking forward to our discussion today.
Thank you, Khushbu. Thanks a lot.
Great. So to begin with, I wanted to, while we're discussing about cybersecurity, managed detection, I wanted to put across my first question to you, Mr. Vijay Krishna. With the dynamic market changes, how are you reassessing your security strategy for your organization?
We strongly believe there are only two types of organizations. Either they know they have been attacked, or they are not aware they've been attacked. So we always say, we want to be in a safer side, and these bad actors, threat actors, always 10 steps ahead of us.
Correct.
So first thing I would always say is to acknowledge that actually, if we live in a superficial world that everything is fine, we don't have any threat, then that is a recipe for disaster.
Correct.
So first, I would like to, all organizations, whether it's a small, medium, or big, or whatever kind of thing, whatever they have done, they are still to be paranoid. I would say, we are paid to be paranoid. So being paranoid is the most essential to be, in a cybersecurity, I would say, because if you are complacent, you'll be you'll be awakened with a rude shock, which we would like to avoid. We don't like surprises at all. So I would say all organizations has to be having that mentality. Whatever we are doing, still we have to find how to improvise, how to become more professional, more, keep improving, keep walking, kind of it. Not even a moment or lowering our guard and be complacent, which allows the threat actors. That too, in a particular scenario like where we are in this world now. Like one is the COVID and another is the geopolitical situations like Ukraine and Russia. So it actually creates, more threat actors coming from those regions, particularly the Eastern Europe and all. They'll be, looking for more opportunities to make money because of their collapse of their economy or war and all these things. So all the more reason we have to be careful. Like, even though we have done whatever best, still how to improve, we have to keep looking at actually.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like you very correctly mentioned, I think it requires to be paranoid and always the threat actors are 10 steps ahead. So the skill gap is widening in the recent times for cybersecurity, right? So how is your organization addressing these challenge and now, and how is it preparing for the future?
At the moment, we are using Sophos XDR to protect our endpoints and servers. We are rolling it out to servers, not yet fully done, but we are doing that. So that is one way. But in future, I would say, everything is becoming as a service. Even if you look at ransomware is becoming service. No, I can go to the dark web, pay some bitcoins, hire a ransomware expert, and attack someone if you want.
Right.
So in that situation, to counter that, to the other side of it, the cybersecurity has to become a service. See, because we will be focusing to run our business, and no IT we want to align with the business to do that. So yes, cybersecurity is definitely part of the boardroom talk. Now everything is fine, but still, if you ask me skill sets, and this is ever growing, ever emerging skill sets. So I would prefer everything as a service. So cybersecurity as a service is the way forward. That's what I feel.
Right, right, great. Great thought. Prasanna, your thought on that. And while you also interact with a lot of security leaders and CIOs, how important have you seen is it's to screen and assess third parties to address cyber vulnerabilities? What steps should companies take on this front?
Yeah. So when it comes to third-party assessments, very important that we need to have a complete audit. Okay, so on the third party, for example, let's say that someone is a supplier to my organization. I need to be careful that how exactly they are going to access, okay, to my network. Suppose there are so many companies associated with Sophos today. We onboard them after assessing their uh, security, right? So because what happens is there is something called supply chain attack. So that's the biggest challenge, where I might be having the right resources as a company, but my supplier is not having. So what happens is I allow that vulnerability to come across to my network through that weaker gaps.
Yes.
So it's very important that whenever a vendor is chosen to interact with my assets, it is utmost important that we actually screen that whether they have the right tools or not. First thing, whether they are connecting securely or not, and from what kind of platform they are getting connected to my network. So everything has to be assessed. Number one. Number two is we also demand what kind of audits they have been actually carrying on their network, so that I can go through that audit report and I can see that yes, this vendor is right for me to get connected to my network, right? So this is how we advise customers to screen the vendors so that they will not be a victim of a supply chain attack.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. Further to that, Mr. Vijaya Krishna wanted to understand, due to the rapid digitization, recently Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, that is the CERT, has issued guidelines to corporates. So how is your organization prepared for it? What is the actions taken at your organization for the same? So sorry, I guess you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. The recent guidelines says that we have to report the incident within 6 hours, if I'm not wrong. But first, for that, we should know we have been attacked. That is a key. So that actually puts back with that emphasis of outsourcing the cybersecurity. If we know somebody is monitoring, our network, all the crown jewels, everything 24/7, like a SOC services and NOC services, then we can empower them to take remedial action also, instead of sending a mail. See, the actually, like you may be aware, like many of the companies are coming as audit firms. They will say this is the best practices you have to do, and after 6 months they will come and say you are not done that. So what is the point in doing the postmortem? So ideally we would like to have somebody, a partner, who will treat, can say, extended team of ours, and who monitor and do remedial action or preventive action, so that proactively they will mitigate the risks, and just report to us, and like this all the possibilities, but we did it, something happened, it tried to happen, we stopped it then and there. Then we don't have to report anything to CERT, right? Certain. But beyond that also, if something knowledge we have to share, like this thing, somebody was, bad actor was trying to infiltrate our network, this the partner stopped it, this is a remedial action we had done, we maybe have to report it, that's fine. But leaving everything as a postmortem is a very dangerous.
Right, right. Awesome. And so how are you, managing your cloud security?
We have a hybrid cloud actually, not see, we have a third-party data center where we hosted that also. There we are taken again Sophos for our endpoints and also other firewalls and everything. So
Sure.
again, we are consuming that as a service some extent, like our antivirus in the server level, we are taken Sophos, but other thing firewall and all we are taken as service. In fact, VPN as a service we are taken. So that partner also involved in this.
Great, great, fantastic. We all know zero trust is emerging. So Prasanna, your thoughts on why is zero trust emerging as a new cybersecurity paradigm?
Okay, so let me read it this subject like this is not a new concept altogether. This was there actually. Okay, now what has happened is during this period of 2 years, what we have seen this COVID period. Okay, this actually has taken the front side, right? In fact, we used to call it a different names and all. It's nothing new actually. Verify everything, allow to my network is what and trust nothing. Okay. Verify everything is what the concept. Now, this has given a momentum. COVID has given a momentum to us. Okay. So where people are actually logging in from different devices, different locations and all. So earlier, traditionally, what we used to do is most of the VPN providers, okay, used to provide a lot of services in this way. But now what has happened is with ZTNA, it's more easy to connect and you can segregate users effective way, and then anybody can actually work from anywhere. That's the concept. And what happens is in this case, we are not allowing the user to access everything. We are going to give access to particularly to those resources which they are allowed to access. And plus we are integrating like two factors, right? Where we are verifying through different IDs on the local machine, so that what is happening is we are actually avoiding the difficulties of VPN, number one. And then we are not allowing the user to access everything. In VPN, generally what happens, you have one point to another point, and then anything can happen. So we have seen that the attackers nowadays are actually come through VPN. Most of the thing is like VPN devices are there, you have VPN tunnels are there. But again, when they reach to our network, then it is extended to them for come across and do any kind of damage. Now, here actually what it does is it doesn't allow complete network access, right? And it's much easier. There is no downtimes, more of a VPN connectivities, and you can actually have a better control, visibility. So that's where ZTNA is actually gaining popularity.
Right.
But this concept was there, but this is now emerging as a new technology, and a lot of companies like us, we are bringing a lot of new innovations into this.
Sure, sure. Fantastic. It's been a great conversation so far. But with time in constraint, I have my one last question for you, Mr. Vijay. Any best practices or top 5 learnings that you would want to share with our viewers, the technology leaders and security leaders through this interview?
So I would suggest the CEO fraternity has to come forward and share their experience. See, like we have to learn from our past experience as well as our peers, experiences.
Okay.
Suppose someone has been attacked for a ransomware.
Yeah.
There is no shame in accepting it. Nobody's going to get hanged for that. It's but what are the measures they are taken for corrective and preventive, right? So that can be shared by the CEO fraternity so that the others can be also more careful and improve it.
Yeah.
Suppose they feel that why should I reveal what we had? But we can always say that openness will help, because if you look at the bad actors are collaborating.
Yeah.
They collaborating extensively like somebody creates a code, somebody sends as a phishing attack to someone, I mean the intended users, somebody collects ransom, they share between them the all the finding. But why not the good people, like our CEO fraternity and the people should collaborate. Like I would say CEO News is a great platform to initiate this also. Like what are the best practices, good or bad. So someone X maybe done a mistake, how they have been done, whether they paid the ransom, or whether how they are able to do it, what whom to report. So their experience. Some people say, like Prasanna was saying, that blocking it. So how effectively this is being done by, so good. So both we can learn, like what we should not do, or what to, like say, do's and don'ts. So that will be a great education for others who are, or people who are taken it lightly,
Yeah.
can really look at it. This is not somewhere it's happening in US or anything. It's happening maybe in Bangalore, next building somewhere. People maybe your competitor also. But you should not feel happy. Okay, my competitor only got hit. It can happen to anybody. So learn from that. So we should be open enough to share and collaborate, so that as a fraternity, we should not get affected. That's, I would suggest, that's one of things we can mitigate this. Like if, for example, you take the COVID example.
Yeah.
COVID time, people are self-isolating. Like I've been attacked. I mean, so I'm isolating myself. Who are in contact with me isolate themselves. Why we are saying that? So that others should not suffer. The
Correct.
same thing we should be applying for cybersecurity also. These some X can we say that, okay, this is what we had. These are the errors we did. Now we rectified it. Please don't do this. So
Correct.
that will help a lot, actually, I would say.
Correct. Absolutely. And I think that's how the cyber criminals are also doing it. They're all connected. It's a very
Correct.
sophisticated organization that they're running,
Yeah,
and they're very well connected. So
yeah.
very, very great insight on this. Thank you so much, Vijaya. Thank you so much, Prasanna, for joining us today on this interview and sharing all your valuable insights with us.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.